Need to double check that this is running. Okay, yeah, I'm running right now. Going to try and see if I'm live here too. I am. Okay, we are now live. So I'm going to open my chat here. And I know no one's here yet, but I'm going to just say welcome to the stream. Welcome to seeing. This is my first time live streaming all together, at least personally. I have previously live streamed on a studio account called Studio YG Crow, of which I am a founding member. You can see it here on my shirt. But I'm currently working on a Reanimate for fun. The Reanimate is part of El Dorado. So the Road to El Dorado, the DreamWorks film that came out many, many years ago. So I'm going to get started with, I'm going to just jump right in. Hey, look at that. A new guy. Dino Toys Review. That's the first person here. It's great seeing a person here from my old YouTube channel. So I'm actually streaming on two accounts here. I'm streaming on my Tyrant King 000 account, which is my original. I've had that account since I was, 12. And I am a huge dinosaur nerd, so I love dinosaurs. But I've moved on to doing animation and artwork now, which is where I am most of the time. So if you're interested in seeing me and what I do now as a person, follow me on Ben Sutherland Art, and on you want to follow me on Ben Sutherland Art. That is my art account, or you can follow me on Studio YG Crow, which is much more active because I'm actually the studio co-founder. So it's great seeing someone here from my old YouTube account. So it's nice seeing you, Dino Toys Review. I'm definitely going to look at your channel when the stream ends because that is just a cool name and I'm very curious about that. How long have you been watching my channel? I'm gonna get started, so I'm gonna start drawing as we talk. But I'm gonna be looking back and forth on chat to see what people are saying. So let's see here. So this is the original. So just to clarify to people what exactly I'm doing at the moment, I'm scrubbing through and taking a look at the motion of the original animation because I want to see what they did originally for the scene before I get started with some basic laying out and thumbnailing for my idea of the scene, because I want to have a little bit more fun with it. I want to change the I want to change the way the scene looks, the way it's formatted, the angle of the shots. So things are I'm definitely going to change them. So let's get started. Oh, yeah. I have not been active on this account in so long. Now, the reason why is because, I went to college. I actually went and got a degree in both animation and screenwriting. So, I actually produce animated films now, as opposed to, the AMVs that I used to make, or the dinosaur videos that I made. I made a few. I did one about that I called Dino Talk. I think you meant fire, but I understand. Oh, I loved Primal Carnage. People have still watched that video. Actually, I don't think I've ever mentioned this, but I was actually part of the game testing team when that game was being made. So when that game was first coming out, I was part of both the pre-alpha and the beta for testing that game and making sure there were no bugs in it. Because what had happened was, I'm gonna say a really funny story here. So, I'm 10 years old, right? I'm on the internet. Everything's new. There's no Kickstarter. There's no Patreon. There's no what have you. This is 2010. So we just entered the 2010s, and I'm 12 years old. And no, wait, I'm not 12. I was 12 in '08. No, I was 14. So I was 14 years old when I found Primal Carnage for the first time. Whoops. Didn't mean to do that. I'm looking at the scene on a separate window so I can look at it. So I was 14 years old, and I was the first tester of that video game, one of the first ones. I was the youngest person on the testing team, and what happened was I found Primal Carnage through Spore. I was on Spore, and I saw something for a T-Rex Spore model that someone had made, right? And they were mentioning the game in the model, and I became really curious. So I went and looked it up and found the game when it was only stills, and they were still in Unity. They hadn't switched to the Unreal Engine, which is what they would switch to later. And we donated to the project. When I donated to the project, now my mom was really skeptical because she was like, I don't know if you should. I'm going to check this out. So we donated $20 and checked the phone number on the receipt. Now, the phone number on the receipt was the creator of Primal Carnage. So the creator of the video game himself, we got on the phone. But what happened was he didn't believe that we were real. He thought we were his friends pulling a prank on him. So he kept not taking us seriously. And then my mom finally just said, are you for real? I just donated like $20. Like, is this real? And then he's like, wait, you're serious? And he ended up finally realizing that we were not a prank call. And I was the first person to ever talk to him about his game. This was the launch game for the company. At the time, it was called Lukewarm Media. They've since switched to Virtual Basement. Primal Carnage is unfortunately no longer in the hands of the developers. So what had happened was I talked to him for like 2 hours, and he actually let me be an alpha and a beta tester for college for the game. And then he wrote me a letter to college. So my letter to get into college was actually done by the developer of the game, which was crazy cool, right? So I had this amazing pitch that I did where I got into art like late in life, and I turned my portfolio into a TV show pitch. So I did that, and then I had this amazing letter of recommendation from an existing video game company at the time, which was that Lukewarm Media. Because of him, I got into my dream college, which was University of the Arts, and I was able to get the best scholarship in the school. And I can't really say whether or not that is actually due to my portfolio and his letter of recommendation, or both, which is like crazy, like it's just crazy that even happened. And I went there for 4 years, and it was an interesting experience. I met some amazing people. I've met like friends, like lifelong friends, and we started our own company immediately after college to do our own animations. So we started a company called Studio YG Crow, which you can see on my shirt here. And we have produced several films that have won awards. We've done so many different things now. So you can actually see it here on the stream screen, like it says, where it says support me at Studio YG Crow. That is where I am now. I actually run my own animation company. I'm trying to help it grow online. We're selling stickers, merch, everything. It's been 3 years. I've actually been doing that business for 3 years now, and it's been an amazing journey. I I don't think I could ever be more grateful to the people that I have had the pleasure to work with every day. Like the artist that I'm teamed up with, from my co-founders to friends to family members. Like I wouldn't be who I am, or where I am right now, if it wasn't for them. So I have to say I'm internally grateful for what they have done, because it's all surviving on like goodwill initially to get the business off the ground. But now I'm working on this Reanimate for fun, um, as a learning experience for myself, and also to live stream for the first time. So it's great seeing that some people actually still remember me and want to join the live stream. And I'm hoping to redirect people to my business, to where I work now. I still have the old YouTube account, and people still subscribe and they leave comments, and I'll still heart them and things, or I'll occasionally make like a little upload, of something that is just kind of fun or throwaway, because I can't monetize that channel, obviously, because I have things on there that people have seen that are either using established music, or they were AMVs of like Dragon Ball because I'm a Dragon Ball dork, or what have you. So it's interesting, the experience and everything I've had with my life so far. But I'm a business owner now, so I try to run my own business and get stuff off the ground. So as you might be seeing here, what I'm working on right now are what is commonly referred to as thumbnails. So I'm trying to come up with the idea for how I want things to move, um, and how I want scenes to look when people are moving or doing things. So I'm laying out my idea before I actually get started for real. Um, I'm gonna do something goofy here. I'm gonna try and see if I can get him to like bounce the ball off his butt. He can go flying right here. But I'm still in the dinosaurs, to this day. I actually own fossils, very small ones, like dinosaur teeth. I have a Spinosaurus tooth, actually, for real, in my room, and a Cartronatosaurus tooth as well. And I recently purchased a small ammonite. For those that don't know, the things I'm referring to, Spinosaurus is the main antagonist of Jurassic Park 3. He doesn't really look like that, but that's the best frame of reference I can think of for media, for that dinosaur. And then Cartronatosaurus is also a dinosaur that lived in the same area at the same time, but is a large predator that ate different things. Spinosaurus was more of a fish eater, which I actually talk about in one of my videos, and now that I think about it, all those years ago, that I made with my brother. And man, I love that. But and then an ammonite is actually this very cute shell-like creature that lives in the oceans, kind of like the best thing I can think of is like a horseshoe crab, sort of. They're very cute and harmless, and they lived for millions of years. And I have one fossilized in my room that I have purchased. So I have very tiny. I have teeth from the two dinosaurs I mentioned, and I have a ammonite that is fossilized to a rock. And those are the fossils I currently own today, which I very much love, and I'm very happy to have. So, okay, all right, I'm starting to get an idea for what I want to do. So animation, right? I'm going to go over exactly how animation works. So this is thumbnailing. Thumbnailing is where you take the most simplistic parts of your ideas, lay them out, and plan them before you actually commit to what you're about to do. And then you can start doing layout and drawing where things get more complex. So, I am currently in the earliest stage of production for this. So, let's see where we can go from here. Out of curiosity, I don't know if you're still watching Dino Toys review, but how long have you been watching my channel? Because you said it's been 7 years now. So I'm gonna be 27. I'm gonna be 27 in November. So you've been watching me since I was 20. I wasn't even. Wow, you joined my channel after I had stopped using it. Because I was in college then. No, yeah, no, I was in college. It was my sophomore year of college, and you must have been watching my old YouTube channel then, which is amazing. So it's just impressive. Seeing that there's people that are like still watching me and want to see what I'm doing and think that my channel was cool and you know all the neat things I've gotten to do in my life. So let's see. Wish I could see the amount of viewers on here because I can't really tell when looking at Restream, which is what I'm using right now to stream to both my YouTube channels at once, which is like the art one that I use mainly. And yeah, I it's been a long time coming doing all this. I've spent many years studying and practicing. Um, there we go. Okay, so then the next part where I want to reverse the view here. So I'm going to, once I've laid out the very basic thumbnails of what I'm doing, I'm going to go back over the scene here where I'm taking my inspiration from. Because they do like almost like a little jig, as they bounce the ball back and forth from each other from hip to hip, you know. So we're gonna keep that energy, but we're gonna see it from a different angle. So I am still following the movie. Let's see. So we'll have that laid out, and then after the ball bounces off of them, the last part that I want to have here is we're going to have the goon-like characters that are coming at them that are, the natives in the film that are trying to stop them from scoring the ball because they're part of the enemy team here. And I'm going to give this guy like a bit more of a normal standard build. Very simple. One thing you'll also notice is the things that I am doing, right? These are very simplistic shapes that I am working with. If you're paying close attention, because I do not want to get trapped in detail. So I have a general idea of what my thumbnails are now. So just to compare where we are. The initial film, El Dorado is a great movie. I love that movie so much. I gotta say, I've actually gotten to talk to the creator of the movie. I got to talk to him through Facebook. at least once. And I'm hoping to reach out to him again and talk to him after I'm finished my shot, just see what he thinks. So we'll see, but I wish DreamWorks would do more of this stuff. I really do. You know, I love the 2D stuff they used to do. Actually, the guy who made this, I believe, also directed the Prince of Egypt. I need to double check. But just to go over what we're doing, so in the original, right, as I go here, frame by frame, we see Miguel using himself as a boost for Tulio to bounce the ball off of his buttocks, right? And in my version of what we're going to do, we're going to do the same thing, right? But instead, we're going to see this more from Miguel's point of view, and Tulio bouncing the ball back like this. And then, comparing again, the next shot that follows up is the ball going directly through the ring. Very, traditional, well done, simplistic, just the ball bouncing and going. We are going to do the exact same thing. However, instead, I'm going to shift the angle where the ball is, and we're going to try and get like a floor bottom view. It's kind of hard to make out in the thumbnail here because I kind of need a little bit more space. And then back to the original where the ball is bouncing off of them and their horse goes by. Instead of this, we're going to do the reverse and have this being from like the behind side of the ball bouncing off of their tuchuses, and then the guys coming to get them and the horse going by. So, and just to clarify things one last time for the thumbnail, we're going to have the guys running away, because they don't want to be near the horse, and they're in fear. And we're going to put the horse here. I have a few funny ideas of what I can do with the horse, but I have to get to that point first. A lot of tears here too. So we're going to turn that off. And let's start fleshing out our thumbnails. I'm going to create a duplicate layer for the thumbnails so that I don't lose my old ones. And we're going to make different frames here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That might be one too many, but the idea is there. And now my plan is to turn off my reference. So the image you're seeing here that I'm using as reference is actually the one I created, which is also a part of the Reanimate. There's a single shot in the Reanimate where each individual drawing is done by a different artist, and this one is mine. So I'm going to turn this off for now, and we're going to just scale these up. These very simplistic thumbnails. And try and actually, lay them out and flesh them out more, because it's not very clear what is happening. So let's continue to scale this up. Okay, and we'll do that. So we're getting a bit more clarity of what is happening. This is a bit big. Bring this down. I was thinking of playing music, through the stream, like quiet jazz and things as I draw, but I don't know if I was going to do that this time because I don't know, I didn't want it to get in the way of anybody if they were just listening to the stream and watching it on occasion. So, not sure what the best option is. Apologies if it's a bit quiet for that reason. I didn't want to overwhelm people with music. This is my first time doing a live stream like this, so we will certainly see how this comes out. Okay. Now we're going to flesh these out a bit more because we now have the we now have these a bit more zoomed in. We also want to know the exact length of the original scene. The original scene ends on frame 90. So, in regards to animation, the way animation works is it goes frame by frame. So there are, on average, between 12 to 24 drawings per second. This is running on mostly ones, I believe, if I were to go through this. So a ones, right? What ones are is when this thing's on 24 frames per second. This is on twos here. These guys in the background, they're on ones. Yeah, the guys in the background, they're on ones because they're all getting one drawing per second. Meanwhile, Miguel and Tulio are actually only getting mostly twos and the occasional ones during the faster action. And the camera is making up for those motions to make it more lively. Very interesting. But you can see the differences of what's going on. So we're going to do something very similar and try to maintain that frame rate. But first, the fun part, which is laying it all out, which is going to be a bit difficult because I've chosen some very interesting angles to work with. So I have a general idea of where they are and where they're located. Okay. So let's get started. First, we want to lay out the space itself. Then we can lay out exactly how Miguel is standing on the sand and how Tulio is coming at him. The other reason why we want to do this is because backgrounds and characters are typically separated from each other in a production because it gives you more control. So that way things can be more painterly for the backgrounds and the characters can be less detailed, more flat. So it focuses more on the motion and less on the colors. So we're going to do the same thing here. Okay. So, how do I want to do this? Well, being perfectly straight is no fun. So we're going to try and make this an angle shot. Although I don't know if I want it to be that angled. I think I want it to be like here-ish. So if I do that, and this is the sand, so we're going to actually make this into a series of quick and easy to digest planes. So I know that this is the ground that Tulio is running on, right? So that way I have this partially laid out. And that means Miguel has to fit on this plane. We will figure that out in a minute. What's next? So, got a general idea here of the plane. We want this to sort of, come this way. So we want to have a curvature occurring across the wall, because we don't want it to be perfectly straight, because that's just not gonna look very good, as it were. And the walls are actually curved in the original film too, it seems. So if I'm going through this, yeah, they are. The walls are curved. So what we're going to do is pretend they're straight first, just so we can get the idea down. And I'm going to just cause a gentle curve here first. We don't want it to actually go down, so I am going to instead intensify that curve, because the walls also kind of curve. We want that to be even more dramatic, I believe. Probably best to just do that this way. Then we're going to go through these one by one. Oh, can I animate a dinosaur? Let's see. Well, let's see if I can make something pretty quick here in a separate project file. I have animated a dinosaur before. I animated a T-Rex walk cycle many years ago in college. I don't have the project file on me, do I? It's a bit of a bummer. But if we were to animate a dinosaur in just a few frames, we're going to give him his chicken leg, where it's gonna go like this. The foot is on the ground, right? And then no, that's not good. We're gonna fix that. Let's get our dinosaur down first. So here's our little guy. This is gonna be his tail. Right, here's his arms, and he's currently in the middle of a run, so we're going to have the leg go like this go here, and then this is going to be here. That's not the best movement, is it? I wish I could pull up that T-Rex animation I did in college so I can remember it. What if I can? Let's see if I can, real quick. Just for the sake of having a more direct reference than I can use. I did a very in-depth breakdown of a Tyrannosaurus in college. So I want to see if I can find that. Actually, that might be in my demo reels. Just to clarify what a demo reel is. A demo reel is actually what's considered an animator's best work. And they send those out to people for work who see that and say, okay, this person's art style is what we want. So I should have it here somewhere. 2021. Demo reel 2021. That's not going to be it. This is the 2018 one? It might be. Ball, giraffe, untitled. What is untitled? Okay, select another location. Ignore all sound dependencies. Is this the right thing? I don't know if it is. Oh boy. My program isn't very happy. Looks like I'm going to be experiencing some technical errors. Um, well, I can't do anything at the moment until this is done. So, I'm going to have to give it a minute. Oh, that's an old thing from college. This is not responding. I might have to close the program here. We're going to have a small technical error. Turn this back on. I want to make sure this is working. Hang on. There we go. Okay. I got the file. I got the thing back open. I wonder if I can open this. This might be it. Why is that not? Open with TV Paint, please. Why is this not opening? Man, this is just giving me a pain in the neck. File, open/import. And I want to open you. Oh, there we are. Okay. So I'm not going to animate a new one today because that might take some time and I want to focus on this reanimate. But you can see what I did. How many years ago was this? Oh man, this was like 5 years. So this was 2018 when I animated this and broke this walk cycle down. So this is a very old animation. I wonder if I can put it in full screen here. If I press this. Ah, there we go. So this was an old animation I did in college where I really, really broke down a Tyrannosaurus Rex. I took actual bones and moved them piece by piece for some form of puppeting to get the general motion. And it really did work, but I definitely could do this again and do an even better job, I believe, because this is pretty rusty. But you can see what I've done. And I always like seeing a T-Rex with an orange color. I don't know why. I don't know if it's practical or even makes any sense for a T-Rex to be orange. But I don't know. I really enjoy it. I'm very proud of this. This took me an absurd amount of hours. So I definitely do love this animation. But yeah, that's one thing I did in college where I animated the dinosaur. You can even see where I did things frame by frame here when I scrubbed through. So I did this on what is referred to as twos, where I have a drawing holding for 2 frames. So 12 drawings, actually slightly less than 12 drawings a second. But I have both feet moving, and I have individual bones moving. And what I used for reference for this was a chicken that was walking where it had something attached to its butt, like a tail. And I also used studying emus. So I spent a long amount of time studying this thing. I'm glad the project file is still here and it still works. I certainly could redo this one day, which is definitely not out of the question. What if I can show just the bones? I can show just the bones. So you can see here where I've done the bones themselves. Now this motion that you're seeing here, the way the bones are moving, I will have to give credit here to Scott Hartman. Scott Hartman is a fantastic paleo artist, and he's an amazing artist in general. He has done, I don't know how many illustrations for how many different people. He also did a design and drawing for, what was it called? What was it called again? Oh, it was oh man, I can't believe I'm drawing a blank on this. It's an exact replica of the Hell's Creek Formation life when it was around. Um, I forget what it was called. I don't know why my brain's drawing a blank on it. Because it was so accurate. And I know I'm still following it. Well, I'll think of it eventually, but it's not relevant here. Oh, I wish I was hired for a BBC documentary on this. I wish I got to work on that kind of stuff, but they want 3D animators. Unfortunately, I am not skilled in 3D. Not that I can't become that way, but I'm not now. Um, so, maybe one day. I certainly would like to get the opportunity, but I'll have to teach myself some 3D first, which will take a while. But the motion is good, and that's the important thing. Is if you can get motion down, you can adjust things to different programs and what have you. Um, but let's get back on task. So, just to clarify, the walk cycle, the legs that you're looking at with the bones and everything, that I have to give credit to Scott Hartman, once again, who is this amazing artist and has done I don't know how much work for different people and different studios and institutions and illustrated I don't know how many books with dinosaurs. He is just a monster. I wish I could draw the way he does. I'll tell you that much. Oh wait, hang on, I'm in the wrong folder. That was my work folder for my studio. That is not where we want to be right now. So if I go to drawings, and I'm going to go to El Dorado. There we are. Okay, back to El Dorado. Where is that? There it is. Alright, let's see if I can get this thing not to crash this time. That would be nice. But yeah, I definitely wish I was hired for something like a BBC documentary. That would just be fun. There was an old 2D dinosaur documentary done in like 92 that was like part of, I think, PBS. And I loved that thing. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful animation, beautiful art. I mean, it's not accurate anymore by any means. Science, changes, and the accuracy of what we know changes as we learn more, but it is still a very beautiful, very gorgeous animation documentary that aired on PBS. I wish I could remember the name. I really do. But I'll figure it out. I'll find the name again. I hunted down one of the people that actually worked on it too. I tried to contact them out of curiosity and seeing, hey, like, I really love this documentary and I think it's fantastic, and I've done X animations, and I was wondering if you'd be interested in hiring me. Never heard back, sadly. And I don't even know if that person still works at PBS anymore, because that was 92. So they're probably, either moved on to a different job, or they might even just be retired, for all I know. So, but it would be fun. Definitely would be fun. Another artist I want to recommend too, if you're into paleo art and dinosaurs, I recommend the guy who has done the Soria series. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but it's all on here on YouTube, and he has these amazing videos showcasing all the different animation and things, and all these different breakdowns of how things move and making them have stories, and it's just amazing. He's just an amazing guy. Like, I love his work. I don't think I could not love his work. I'd work with him if he was hiring, but I don't think he is. And again, I'm a 2D guy, and he works like, he draws in 2D, he makes the designs and everything, and these amazing illustrations and whatnot. But yeah, he is not again, not a 2D guy. He's a 3D guy in the animation aspect. If you want to do stuff for documentaries or bring things to life, definitely stick to 3D. That's kind of where it is now for that kind of stuff, you know. That's what people want. So, this is not a very good cube. I'm not a fan of this. But I'm mostly a 2D guy. I like to do things traditionally and by hand, and I work on like this giant tablet, you know. And I don't know. I'm definitely proud of everything I've learned and what I do now. So I'm gonna try and simplify these shapes and then like add them back in. I might have to go over this a second time for myself because the perspective is off. But we'll see. See if I can get that to work. This is a bit odd looking. It might be too big. Things are certainly wonky here that I'm trying to figure out. We're gonna have to definitely gonna have to rework some of this stuff. This is too big. This is definitely too big because I want this to look like it's far away in the distance. Oh, pfft. I'm not going back to the Fire Nation. You can't make me. Also, hi. Yeah, I'm slowly working on things here, getting some stuff done. I wonder if I can change. I'd have to figure that out. Figure that out another time. I'm gonna bring this down inside. Happy Labor Day. So this is one of my friends that I'm talking to. He's helped me with so much with animation and art and everything, and I don't think I would definitely not be where I am without his help. So definitely give him a look. And he also is one of the co-founders of the studio I mentioned earlier, Studio YG Crow. So if you want to see more of my work, more of his work, more of everything, that's the place to be. That's for sure. Okay, so this one's going to be a little bit different. How do I want to break this down? Well, I know it's attached to the wall in a certain way. The most important thing for this shot is the circle itself. But it's best that I start with a square here, and then got a general idea for the square. Go here and here, where it's going to slowly recede. And then this, I believe, will attach, keep the same general shape here. This I'm going to attach. It looks like this recedes a little in shape, just a little bit. And we're not going to see that. We're going to see the wall. So this might be a little too much on the angle. We're going to see about that. Yeah, it's a bit much. So we're going to do this and have it follow through with the wall. The top of the wall is right before this. So if I'm doing this, and I'm following these angles, might be best to kind of cut this off. But, I know the wall continues after this point. I might have actually put myself in a pickle. Yeah, I did. I put myself in an awkward situation. This is not correct. It's best that I do this and actually show it. What made me want to be an animator? Oh man, that's an interesting question. I always liked telling stories. I grew up telling stories. I grew up fascinated with narratives and fiction and wanting to bring things to life. And cartoons was the thing that really got my attention. Like from the very beginning, I was always just watching cartoons, absorbing what was on TV, like Billy and Mandy, or Hey Arnold, or the Wild Thornberries, or Ben 10, or what have you. And then I spent many years just I wanted to be a paleontologist. I wanted to clean up fossils and things, but my desire to tell stories never really went away. And then I turned 17 and I had an idea which I haven't touched in a long time that inspired me and said, I think I want to tell stories instead. I don't want to clean fossils for a living as much as I love them. And it was I just wanted to tell my own. So I became obsessed with improving my skill and trying to become a better artist. And I went to college. I went to college to learn. I spent 40 years at university. And then I got to meet tons of people that helped me become who I am. And that's what made me want to be an animator. So, oh, are you saying you want to, or you wanted to be a paleontologist? I know Toys Review. I'm gonna try and do that, and then we want this, and then we want this, sort of. That's it. So what I'm doing here is actually a technique to help people draw circles. It's very unusual, but it does work. Um, this will allow me to draw things. Oh, you wanted to learn zoology too. I have a friend of mine that I was really close to when we were kids, who was really into paleontology like me, but he ended up becoming a zoologist instead, and he currently works in a area in Florida where he helps with fish farms right now. But I know he's currently looking to build up being a reptile breeder. We were close friends since first grade. I still talk to him on occasion to stay in touch. So he's the one of us that actually ended up going after something within close to or similar to that field. Where else am I streaming? Oh, right. Okay, so I'm streaming in two places at once. So I'm currently streaming on my art account. I'm not sure which one each of you are on, because I have Rudolph Maker and Dino Toys Review. So one is on my main YouTube account, which is my art account, and my old YouTube account that's been around since I was 12. So I'm on both to try and get more outreach of what I am doing and what I am drawing. So I'm on several different places right now. I know. I gotta flip that canvas. That's for sure. It's probably wonky, so let's double check. That square is fine, but everything else is a little off. Square is okay, so we can work with that. And now I can draw my circle. If I can get something good looking. Darn. So drawing circles is very difficult, especially in perspective. It is a very challenging thing to do. Yeah, gotta get back to that rotating too. Whoa, why did it zoom out when I did that? What the heck? It's not gonna keep doing that, is it? Okay. Also, you might have noticed that I am actually left-handed. So, I have to look at things a little differently as I draw than some people, because some people are right-handed, some people are left-handed. So, that is not accurate. Yeah, that's not going to be right. That's good. That works. Okay. Try pulling the pencil toward your outer arm instead of pushing. Flip and okay, I got a general idea of a circle that I have in perspective. So we now have a little bit more laid out. I can make this into a better circle going forward. Oh boy, I have definitely put myself to work. But that's where the fun comes in. So, scaling. Have to figure that out. So, we at least have a general idea of how this looks. This, I'm gonna rework. I'm not happy with that. So, unfortunately, for those that are watching, this is the slightly more boring part of the animation process, because I have to figure out my planes. Yep, that is good advice. Rudolph Maker gave some good advice. Instead, see, the thing is, if you're trying to push a curve, it's not as easy to do when you're trying to control, whereas pulling is a bit better with control of getting that nice spiral control. I'm going to see if I can make that a little darker, because it might be hard to see on stream. You can get stuff like this by just tightening, and well, not tightening. You want to stay loose. What I mean is, you can get that by pulling the lines in. So that is definitely some good advice that I myself could use. So I am probably going to keep this stream going until 8:30, and then I'm probably going to stop streaming after that, and I'm going to have to come back to this at a different date at that time. But I do plan on streaming this entire process, step by step. There may be things that I do off stream that you won't see if I'm not available, but I am going to actually go through this entire shot as much as I can on stream. So I will slowly learn and figure out the bits and pieces of what I'm aiming for and how we can pull it off. And hopefully you'll be part of this journey with me. So this goes here, this pulls into here. So we want to keep our dot here. We'll figure that out in a bit. If I can just get the general idea of this ring. So we're gonna break down the ring, and then we gotta get the ball itself, which will come through here. Yeah. Yes, that is also good advice. Rudolph Maker also stated, if you are left-handed, then line should be pulled to the left. So in my case, I am left-handed, so that means I should be pulling my lines like this. And if you're right-handed, I'm going to try this with my right hand, so it's going to come out weird. But you're supposed to do it with your right hand. But it's not going to look good because I am not right-handed. But the idea is the same. So, pull lines in the direction that your hand naturally is. So we got that. And then they are here bouncing that ball off of their buttocks. And that's when the horse comes in and they run away. Okay, okay. So this will come back to. And then this is where they are bouncing that ball off of each other. So let's think here. I'm going to look at the original to get an idea. Okay. So we are going to create this as our general horizon line. And I'm going to try to... This will be our general horizon line of the angle of the ground. The ball, or the wall, should come in and probably start to disappear, I'd say, here. And then we're going to flip the image so I can get a better look. Do the same thing here. That's a bit odd. We want this to be nice and long. So I'm gonna just do that. Lay out our walls. So we've got the wall laid out here for our general plane, and let's see. We'll come back to this one because this one I'm gonna just, there's a general, I'm gonna probably put a cloud or two in here and just give it a sky, right? There is jungle actually that comes over the wall that is somewhat visible on the original, on the left side of the original, which means it'll appear actually here on my side on the right. So we're going to just lay out an idea of some basic vines and jungle for our background. So it is nice to see that there are people that, are still keeping track of my accounts online, and I hope this is, I wish I had more to say. Unfortunately, it's quite difficult because there's not as many people here, so I'm trying to keep the conversation engaging and try to keep it going. Man, I'm a little tired too. I had fun earlier. I went to my grandmother's. She has a pool, um, and we went swimming for a bit to help celebrate Memorial Day, which is something we do every year. So I had a nice time, but I'm also a little wiped out, which is gonna give it that basic design. Uh, no, I don't want to put any birds in there because I don't want them to be an additional factor. So I am gonna just lay that out, lay this out, and background should not be as necessary. So I'll add more to the background after I've double checked a few things with layout of the film. But here I'm going to say that we're pretty much at an acceptable place where I can start drawing the characters, which I will probably start doing in a minute. This is the same scene, so we want to keep this here. So currently we have what are going to be three backgrounds. Yeah, we have three backgrounds in total, so not a lot of backgrounds. So three backgrounds in total for the entire animation. Um, so not too complicated. Let's flip this back around. Also, if anybody is curious about what program I'm currently using, it's called TV Paint. So TV Paint is this amazing French drawing software that is very, very, very popular with animation. Um, as an example, the people who have used this before are Aaron Blaise, who is a phenomenal animator. He has worked on countless animated films from Beauty and the Beast to Brother Bear, which I believe was his personal Disney produced film, and many others. I mean, I could just keep going. I know he was on Fox and the Hound, but he heavily recommends this software. So if you're looking to learn the kind of software that Disney animators have been using for a long period of time, I heavily recommend TV Paint. Unfortunately, it is not cheap. It comes to about, I think, like 1,400. But you do own the software forever, and it's always going to be yours. So it is, the one thing that's great about it is you're not doing a monthly subscription. And once you've bought it, you own it, which is just fantastic. So I am very happy with that. This is not helping. Trying to figure out what guidelines work best here, because I have some additional guidelines and I want to see if I can plan things appropriately. Vanishing point from lines. Okay, yeah, let's see if I can get that to work. It is not working. Okay, let's see. 2 point from lines. Oh, dang it. Okay. That's 1. And this is 2. Weird. That is very odd. Well, I might have to just eyeball it, which I can do. So, if I'm thinking that this is correct, then what we're going to see is this is going to go here is our first mark. If I am looking at this correctly. And then this will also have a mark right about here. We have 1, so we have to follow the line the same general stroke. But if that's the case, this is going to be quite far. That's not going to work. That is not going to work. Because what we are going to probably have... Well, let's make sure we're still following things correctly. This is flat, so this will be here. And then this is going to follow this same general direction. So there we are. Try to keep that general thing in the same place. And this, which also needs to follow that pattern. If that's the case, then this is going to be here. Right. I did it wrong. My bad. Trying to follow the advice I've also been given. So, if this is to be believed, that does not seem correct. Well, let's say this is the ball. No, that's not it. Huh. We're getting somewhere. But we want this to be as accurate as I can get it. So this has to... Oof. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Let's flip that again. It's not 100%, but it is getting closer. So what we probably want is this to be going in this general direction. And then this a little bit rounder. This actually will probably curve off just a little. So we want this to be like this, per se. A bit closer to what I'm going for. And there's also a way for me to do this with existing tools, so we are going to use them real quick to strengthen the shape of this circle. So, new layer, and we are going to go to the ellipse tool. Going to do that. I'm going to transform this into the circle that I want. This has to go into perspective, so we want this here, this point goes here, this point will go there, and this point will go here. And that should give us our general circle. And that doesn't seem 100%. If I'm going to follow that, then my circle is off. I might have my circle off because I didn't make a perfect square. So let's see about dragging this just a little bit here. And then we're going to duplicate and drag this over. That did not work. Duplicate layer, please. And we're going to drag this over here. And then we have the two circles combined. Best way for me to handle this. I do want this to be down a little. I'm gonna do this with the line going down in this general angle. I need to scale this down a little. Okay. So using our existing guides combined with strengthening things through the basic digital tools. Well, if I just erase, we'll see how this looks. That can work. That should work. Now we're going to duplicate you one more time. And we're going to compound these in a second, but what we're going to do is we're just going to make a scaled down version of what's already there. Try to keep this generally in the center. But that is not going to work in this context. So what we want, what's the size of this? How thick and wide is this? Okay, yeah, it's pretty thick. Pretty thick. Kind of dummy thick. To adjust this circle here, because what we need is to, well, we'll start there. We're going to start there. Merge these two together. Done. And now we can start fleshing this circle out a bit more. So following this logic, we're going to end up with something along the lines of say something close to this. Maybe a bit thicker. And we're gonna just fill that in with some shadow as a guide to know that that is what is happening on the inside. And if I turn all that off, we have the beginning of our circle. And now all we got to do is a square that this is attached to, or more of a rectangle shape. But if we follow the same general lines that we have here, so I'm going to use the same tools here just to help guide me along. And we're going to, oh, wrong, whoops, we don't want to do that. We do not want to do that. Okay, yeah, we're not doing that. We gotta select it first, so that I make sure that it's not just doing it to everything. So we're gonna move this over here, as Cartman would say, over here. Oh wait, that means that it's best that I do this on a separate layer. Okay, let's try this one more time. This goes here, this will go here, and we're going to perspective change this actually, because we want this to there we go. Okay, so that'll be good for size. Let's go to perspective. This is clearly too far away. Command Z, try that again. Okay, drag this over. And now we want this attaching here, and we want this to attach over here. Just want things to stay relatively in the same place. So now we have a general idea of our rectangle. But the rectangle is still a little too big, so we're going to scale it down to make it fit on our circle. Because it should attach to the circle directly. And leave a little bit of room for things. So following this logic, we should now have our general lines of how things are going, and this should attach here. So well, actually, now that I think about it, the line is going in this angle. So we want to follow that same general direction. So it's probably best that I flip this and try it from the other side. So that I know that this is the angle we're going for. We're going to follow that. And then this is going in this direction. So something along those lines. We want to do the same thing. Do it again. And this one going in this direction, so something like this. Do that again. And this is going to curve onto the circle. Well, actually, it can very easily go inside. We'll see. There's a few things I need to figure out here. So I know this isn't probably the most thrilling of streams, but unfortunately, this is what I'm going to have to do to slowly acclimate myself to the scenes in hand. I think I'm going to have this actually go inside the circle. And that way I'll have the very basics of this laid out. May make this a bit more dynamic. Also, I'm now noticing that this is actually supposed to be on this side. Internal, but on this side. Yeah, that'll... You know what? Maybe I can just leave it alone. We'll figure out how to make those two attach. But, we're going to leave these two be for now. For the circle, we now have our basic layout here. This also is going to need to be broken down in a way that includes the circle. So we want a general circle shape. I want a general circle shape, which I will do here and keep it nice and loose. And then what we want is to follow the curvature of this wall. And we are going to just put a circle on the inside. And these are not going to be perfect, but that's okay. That's not important at the moment, at least. So we are going to try and see. I think that's a little odd. So we want this to attach like this, attach like that. Put things into perspective. And then lastly, we need to... The walls themselves are pretty bland, so they don't really need to change. And the square here, or circle I should say, it is going into the wall on an angle, so kind of like this. So we kind of want to have it attached like that too. Oh, my favorite prehistoric crocodile? Man, that's a really interesting question. So, my favorite prehistoric crocodile, Sarcosuchus was the classic favorite for me. The one that existed in Africa. It exists. I think it's my favorite because it's in such a really interesting part of evolutionary history. Because you have these giant creatures just running around and doing what they want, you know? Which is just amazing. And so, as I mentioned earlier, if people were here for the stream, there are a Spinosaurus and there's a Spinosaurus and a Carcharodontosaurus that both existed, that were dinosaurs during that time period. Then we now also have Sarcosuchus, who was discovered by who was the one that discovered that? Again, that was Paul Sereno. Paul Sereno discovered Sarcosuchus. And you have 3 mega predators all existing in Africa at the same time. Now, did they interact that often? Probably not, but they did interact enough times for that to, they probably had their interactions and their fights for food. So you have Spinosaurus, which is like 50 feet long at the largest measurements, and then we have Carcharodontosaurus, which is like 41 to 42 feet, I think, which is a really large predator. And then we have Sarcosuchus, which is 42 feet long. You have all these creatures that are like massive T-Rex size creatures all living at the same time, and it's just absolutely fascinating. And I think it's one of my favorite ecosystems that existed at like the same time as each other, to have all of them coexisting. Like, it's so unprecedented, to have that happen, because that's a lot of predators, especially that size, that need a lot of food. I guess my second favorite would have to be like, oh, let's see. Dino Toys Review says, my favorite prehistoric crocodile, Orthrosuchus, Desmatosuchus, Postosuchus. I'm familiar with Postosuchus. That is definitely one of my favorites. Then Poposuchus, Carporosuchus. Very fascinating creature. That was after the dinosaurs. I think like 40 to 30 million years ago. We only have a skull, but there's evidence that it actually was a land crocodile, so it didn't actually, was not restricted to the water. Bat Rachtomo Bat Rancho to mute Amus to Amus. I'm gonna butcher that, so we're gonna let that be. Sorosuchus. So that's a different one. Armadillosuchus. I'm not familiar with that one. Phasolosuchus. That one I am familiar with. If that's the right one, I think that is also part of the Postosuchus family. I think it's the largest one. Shuvosaurus and Ephagia. That's a lot of names. I'm going to have to look those up later, because I am not familiar with a good number of those. My knowledge of extinct crocodiles is not that high, because most of my time was spent studying the dinosaur side of things. So that is something I have to learn, and that is for sure, because that is not my specialty. It's pronounced Batrancho Thomas. Batrancho Thomas. Okay. Interesting. I'm out of practice with saying weird Latin dinosaur names. So that's something I have to refresh myself on. Never thought I'd have to say that. So we've got this here, this there, and you're not really going, I don't think this is going to be that visible. Yeah, this isn't going to really be visible because of the angle it's on. Actually, maybe just a little bit will be visible. Oh wait, okay, so it's Batracho Thomas. Okay, so it's a little different. I will have to look that up later. You're fine. I don't even know what that is, so I have to like learn the names. So you're doing better than me. So, and then we're gonna want, let's see, put things on an angle here and just try to get these lines correct. Nope. 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 is the unfortunate part of things, is that sometimes you just have to keep on going until you get it. There we go. You gotta keep on going until you get it. I want this to have its own little curvature. I want it to be kind of want it to be a little more muted. Oh no, Biggie, man. Sorry if you made a mistake. Again, I'm out of practice. So, you definitely got more down than me at the moment. Alright, we're going to let that be for now. We're going to let this be for now. We're going to let this, I am going to just do the ground plane for now, because I just want to have that ready for when I start animating these guys. So, we're going to do the first... Dang it. Alright, I gotta do what I'm supposed to be doing, which is rotating my canvas. Dang it. Dang it. Dang it. Okay. That's satisfactory for now for me to lay things out. So, I'm going to let that be, and I'm probably going to get some advice on how to lay out the perspective here for a few things. So, I'm going to ask for some additional help from some other people, and I'm probably going to get that from some friends, and I know another person I'm going to ask. So I'm either A, going to do a little bit more of this before I jump back onto stream the next time I'm available, or I may get help for the layouts themselves, and then when I feel like the layouts are okay, I'm going to stream the actual animation of these two. But either way, I am going to probably start animating both Miguel and Tulio in a minute. But that I'm going to save that for tomorrow's stream, because I want to, well, I can't guarantee if I'm going to be on, but I'm going to jump back to these guys at some point, and I'm going to try to stream as much of the process as possible. Probably going to get the layouts done more, because I think that is the least interesting part of watching me work. So I might do that before I come back onto streaming. Instead, just for fun, I'm going to just do a quick little cool down and just do some quick sketches, some quick drawings, just for fun, where I don't have to think. And the first thing I'm going to attempt is I'm going to take Dino's Toys Review, and I'm going to go and see if I can draw one of the crocodiles you suggested, just really quickly. Not super detailed or anything. It might be a little wonky, because I'm going to try and just do it loosely, but it'll be fun. I am going to try... Carposuchus is a little too fragmentary, I think, for me. I'm going to try and look up Postosuchus real quick, so I can make sure I have that correct on how it should look. And draw that a little bit as my cooldown. So this will be the cooldown for the stream. So I'm going to say it's been great having everybody here. I'm going to be here. I'm going to probably do the cooldown for at max 10 more minutes. And once the stream is over, hopefully I will see you guys again for another stream. Don't forget that I have a studio, Studio YG Crow, which is the merch I am rocking right now. We have a store open. I forgot to mention, we're selling merchandise right now. We haven't made a public announcement just yet, but we're going to. But some of the things that we have, one of them is this cool hat that I have, where I can actually wear merchandise of my company, and it's fantastic. So, can you draw my logo? So you want me to draw the creature in your icon? Is that what you mean? I might be able to. Tell me what it is. Like, if you can give me a name of what the creature is. Thanks, man. Sorry, I'm getting delayed reactions, like, you'll send a message, but I won't see it right away. But, give me the one that's in your icon? Because I'm not sure what that, I can't see it, because it's so small. So if you could tell me what it is, I can Google it. And I can try and give it a whirl. Yeah, if you can just tell me what it is, I can hop on and I'll give it a shot. Oh, it's a T-Rex. Alright. Well, let's just look that up real quick. Even though I've drawn this 100 times, it's still good to have a good reference. Still good to always have a decent reference to work with. And let's look for Paleo Guy. Let's see if I can find it. Paleo Guy. Okay, I found it. I found it from 2019. So I'll look at this one as a reference. Yeah, this is the exact one from your icon. That's a really interesting T-Rex there. It really is fascinating now that we have a general idea that they actually have, lips covering their teeth. So many years of just them actually having their teeth out, which is a lot more menacing looking, but probably not good for them on a scientific basis. I'm not going to draw the exact icon. I want to have a little fun with it, so what I'm going to do is let's see, what's a good idea? Let's do a little bit of like a upward angle thing here. So we're going to look at this, this will be his jawline, basic idea of where the head is. I'm going to break that down. And it's got the osteoderm. It's got the osteoderms, which these are bone. But osteoderms, for those that don't know, are actually bony plates that some creatures have. Crocodiles being modern examples, they have a lot of osteoderms, which is what their scales are. Which is what's the protective stuff on their back, scale-wise. A lot of creatures have had them over the millennia. The many, many, many millions of years that the Earth has been around. T-Rex being no exception, and possessing them on the brow of its eyes. So if I'm following this a little bit, we're going to just give it the eye here, kind of small. Keep that focused in. Lips, they overlap a little bit. and then one actually goes over the other more. So, and this one is a bit more on the flat side, it seems. So we're going to actually do this where we have the mouth overreaching just a little. And I can see that it is incorporating the bone bending down a little bit on the snout. It looks like the nostril is actually very high up, right about here. I'm not looking at a skeleton at the moment, so maybe not the most accurate, but it is here. And then we have the very strong, very muscular neck. It looks like they're attaching the muscle to this part of the skull, where there is a very big vein, very, very powerful vein, or muscle, I should say, attaching to the head. I'm not going to keep the exact line work because I'd have to paint it to get it to look better, because there's so much detail. Sometimes with things, when it comes to drawing, you have to take things away, because they look better if they're fully rendered, where you actually get to have like so many different like shades and values and add things up and whatnot. But when you can't, you have to just try and find that happy medium of what what you think you can get away with for yourself. I know the mouth is going to actually thin out about here, because it's got like a little bit less going on bone wise. So we're gonna just attach things like this. Got a small eye right there. And this is where the head's going to be. We're going to attach the arm right about here. And done. And we're going to have like a little bit of the muscle attaching here and here. I think the arm actually might be further up now that I'm looking at this. I think it's going to be actually right about here. Hanging to the side-ish. And then we will add the arms here. And I know the arms actually curve like this a little bit. The muscle is kind of here. Attaches like this, so kind of like a little fold that we have that's going on about here to keep the arms in place. And if the tail is following this line of action, we are actually going to just see just the smidge right about there. And we're going to give it the pupil right about here because it's not very big. There's a very light. That's not going to work. That is not going to work. So we are going to instead just lightly fade that in. And that'd be too thin. I'm going to flip this image real quick. This is a bit long for a T-Rex. They're a bit boxier. So let's bring this in. I'd say right about there will be good. Kind of like a happy little medium. Draw this in. And we're going to shade this in as the osteoderms for the parts that are protecting the eyebrow ridge. And I think it also, in the image, it's actually attaching further down onto the snout area. So there is actually an osteoderm right about there. And we'll have him, as he is looking up, we will have a Quasidactylus flying by. Very interesting creatures, very simplistic shapes that they are made of. These guys. About the size of a small plane they were. Very, very interesting creatures. So, we will have him looking up at this guy. And we're going to put some clouds in the background. Maybe a few trees. Because T-Rexes lived in swampy, woodland-like areas. So, put a few trees in the area. Fill them in. Could have had a little bit of shadow here. And we also can give it that classic dinosaur feel. So I'm going to give it a volcano. A really simplistic little volcano in the area that's like in the distance. So we're going to give it that classic, like, oh, well, dinosaur volcano, Give it that little interesting look. We're going to thicken those lines a little bit. Helps define things, I think. And there we go. I'm not going to go too in-depth here. We're just going to keep things as they are. But the general idea is there. And that is what I'm going to stick with for now. So, and that will be my T-Rex. We're going to let that be for now, not add any more. And hope you've enjoyed the stream, everybody, for those that tuned in. And I'm going to probably come back, hopefully, with something a little bit more exciting, instead of just the backgrounds. Because they're not the most exciting things to look at. So, I'm gonna full screen this, just so we have a big, nice, long image of it. And I'm going to also switch to my live with no camera, so we can just see the drawing. Not finished, just a quick sketch. But you can see it here in the layout of how things look. If you like what you see, be sure to support me at Studio YG Grow. And check out my studio. So, yeah, it is you, man. I'm glad you like the drawing. So, I'm going to close out the stream for now. And it's great having everybody here. And I hope you've enjoyed having the stream. I'm going to come back, hopefully with something a bit more exciting, as I said before. Lastly, do not forget to look up my studio. And thank you so much for tuning in. Well, farewell, everybody. How do I end my... I actually don't know how to end the stream, so this is a little embarrassing. I don't know how to end the stream. How do I get this to stop? That's chat, destinations... And I am live right now, but I don't want to be. Oh boy.